Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Boycott Everything Something Something Show podcast thingamabobber.
Episode one of
Episode 1 of Rev Books, where Rev takes the wrestling world, flips it on its head, and tries to make Vince McMahon millions of dollars.
and not
Maybe.
just Vince McMahon in this case, not just Vince
Yeah.
McMahon in this case. So, before I get into that, I want to set some prefaces on what this is. I'm going to put on social media, in the video down below. You can respond. Any wrestler, anytime, any industry. I mean, any company, any owner, because the WWE, the WWE, WWF has had different owners, and Impact's had different owners. Anybody, anything you want to see me book in the future, just let me know and I will come up with something. Tonight's episode has to do more with what I think would be the perfect way to come out of this entire pandemic thing that we got going forward to save wrestling, because wrestling as a whole is in trouble. The longer this goes, the more indie wrestlers and people that's not under a steady contract. So pretty much anybody outside of AEW, from what I understand, and I do mean a contract where they have health care and all that stuff, insurances. That's why the WWE was not said there. I think that all the companies, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact, WWE, Ring of Honor, CGW, everything, Primetime, everything should all sit down at a table and go, okay, how can we do this to make the industry popular again so we can make as much money for everybody that works for our companies? I honestly think that's what needs to happen. So I was thinking to myself, what could happen that can cause that and it not be huge? Uh,
And by the
it
way, this is going to be our very Rev centric show tonight
yeah,
because.
Wooly didn't have any ideas on how to save the wrestling industry, so we decided to make this a Red Book, so y'all can see what I'm talking about with Red Books and see how y'all like my mind. So here's my idea: the pandemic's over, we got about a month of SummerSlam, and all of a sudden you hear on WWE shows you hear Morse code SOS in Morse code, very distinct, very. If you've been watching SmackDown for like the last month, there's been these little things show up where it's glitching the system on it, and it's weird. It's a good weird, but it's weird. But I want to do that in the background when the announcers are calling a match and people are talking. Just you hear occasionally SOS and Morse code, and this goes on for about 3 weeks, and then SummerSlam happens, and at SummerSlam, um, the arena goes black. You hear the SOS. The arena goes fully lights back out, and nothing happens, and it throws everybody off. Fast forward to 3 days later, Ring of Honor. Uh, Ron Hunt, Soldiers of Savagery, and Shane Taylor is in the ring, and Ron Hunt is just hyping Shane Taylor because Shane Taylor right now is the TV champion. I do believe. I could be wrong. I don't think I am. I think he's their current TV champion. World, yep, he's our world TV champion. He's hyping him up about a match with Jay Lethal, and everything's being said. And Shane Taylor comes out and he's hyping the match. He goes, but I want to share something. He pulls out an envelope, and on the envelope, clear as day, you see a big sign, big WWE logo on it. Then he pulls another one out, and it has the New Japan Pro Wrestling logo on it. He goes, one of these I'm going to think about. And he puts both in his pockets, cuts the rest of his promo on Jay Lethal, and they leave the ring. Uh, SmackDown that Friday, um, the idiots on broadcast. Sorry, I don't know who broadcasts for SmackDown because I listen to it with no sound on. I just enjoy the show. Um, and if Bray Wyatt or some of them are talking, I listen in. But other than that, I don't really give a damn. Let's be
Probably better
honest.
for it.
I meant Brock Lesnar and them. Yeah. So uh, they said that there's been a huge signing to the company, and only the hotline smarks, the people on the internet that think they know everything, thinks, oh, it's Shane Taylor. Shane Taylor signed that contract, and that's hype for a couple weeks. They go to the next pay per view, and I don't know the pay per view schedule for WWE because I really am that disenfranchised with that company. That Ring of Honor is pretty much the only thing I watch now when I have time. And once again, in the middle of the tag team match, all the lights go out. SOS Morse code, lights come back on, and the soldiers of savagery is sitting in the middle of the ring, and they just tear everybody up, just beat the hell out of everybody. And the announcers are shocked, and the internet would literally explode between ROH because the soldiers are a badass tag team and they deserve to be huge in a you know something like that. So it feeds the rumor mill even more that Shane Taylor's going to the WWE. Um, Fast forward to January for Wrestle Kingdom. Shane Taylor shows up on Wrestle Kingdom and knocks out Okada. That's all he does, Wooly. All he does is knocks out Okada and then walks off. So now we've got this swerve. We're 9 months into it. January, the SOS has finally been answered. Soldiers of Savagery, part of Shane Taylor Promotions, is now on WWE, but Shane Taylor is on New Japan. Fast forward to the week before WrestleMania. No, I'm sorry. Got to back up because I forgot the Royal Rumble. Big point. Royal Rumble comes out. John Cena enters his last Royal Rumble, and he promises that if he doesn't win, he would impact wrestling forever. And he gets eliminated by Montez Ford. Bianca Belair wins the women's. Montez Ford wins the men's. We fast forward to WrestleMania. So, of course, as you see, things are happening kind of slow, but John Cena keeps, pressing it. Nobody thinks that Shane Taylor is going to WWE because he's been showing up knocking out Okada for the last 3 months. He promises that next year's WrestleMania will be his last. And if he doesn't win, he guarantees wrestling changes forever that night. WrestleMania happens. He loses clean as a whistle to Montez Ford. Exactly. But it was a weird loss. It was maybe Cena's past his prime. Maybe he's really bad now, and Montez just dominated him from bell to bell. You know what I'm saying? And as the match ends, the lights go out. SOS is popped. Soldiers of Savagery standing there behind Cena, looking at Montez Ford. Lights go out again. Shane Taylor shows up in the middle of the ring after the lights come back on, and John Cena is laid out. And Montez Ford, Soldiers of Savagery, Ron Hunt, and Shane Taylor are all standing above Cena. Smiling, doing their hand gesture. And if you don't know the hand gesture, well, you should watch some Ring of Honor. It's really badass. It's poignant for what I'm doing. The next night, Shane Taylor takes over the opening segment, talking about how he wants to introduce the entire wrestling world to the king and queen of wrestling, and he brings out Montez Ford and he brings out Bianca Belair, and he welcomes them to Shane Taylor Promotions. And from then on out, for the next year, that faction. So Soldiers of Savagery, Shane Taylor, Ron Hunt, Bianca Belair, and Montez Ford just run the WWE. They have titles. Everything happens. Then we find out through the dirt sheets that they're actually not under contract. They're being paid by somebody in the WWE to show up to cause stuff.
Hmm. Okay.
They're still under a working contract with Ring of Honor. They were never Shane Taylor was never under contract with New Japan. He was just getting paid, making money. You go to the first episode of 2022 Raw, and they're sitting there and they're talking, and Shane Taylor brings up the rumors, and he goes, "I just want to, put the rumors at rest. I am absolutely being paid to be here. We'll let you know at the end of the night." And at the end of the night, the wrestling show goes off. Soldiers of Savage finally wins the tag team belts from, I don't remember who I originally had him booked against, so I'm just going to say Authors of Pain, because, they probably need the damn belts by then. They win the belts off, they win the Raw belts off them. They've all moved from SmackDown to Raw. All of them. Everybody's on Raw now. And at the end of the night, Shane Taylor's standing there and he puts his hand up, and Kofi Kingston is announced to be the one that signed them to the contract. But
Kofi.
it's Kofi. Kofi paid Shane Taylor Promotions to be part of Raw, be part of the WWE, and be part of New Japan. So storyline goes on. People are confused. How can Kofi afford that? Then you find out that Shane McMahon paid Kofi and gave him explicit permission to sign anybody and everybody he wanted to form a faction to change wrestling forever. So Shane does his normal, ha ha ha, I did it, I did it, I did it. He comes out, he's just showing his ass, Shane, yeah, exactly,
Popping
Shane
around,
McMahon
doing the little
things.
dance.
And at the very end of the Raw before WrestleMania, Jay Lethal shows up, knocks out Shane McMahon, throws a briefcase of money on his chest, and says, "Now we own the WWE." Lights. Yeah. Giving Shane, because then you'd have Shane Taylor being a world champion in the WWE. He's caused trouble in New Japan, so he's more of a name. Him owning a belt would make sense. Ron Hunt's would be an amazing manager for Shane through all of this, even though Shane's one of the best promos in wrestling. Soldiers of Savagery, like I told you, I'm telling you personally, Wooly, you need to go find a way to watch Soldiers of Savagery. They're amazing tag team. Um, and then you take probably the purest baby face of all time in Kofi Kingston and make him the leader, the money of the biggest bad guy group into what, 15 years? Like, when's the last time you had a really good bad guy group? Ministry? Uh,
Mm.
Evolution.
Yeah, probably Evolution.
I would say Evolution.
Yeah.
And for once, to put it mildly, only black wrestlers would get the rub. And without a shadow of a doubt, show they can carry a storyline in a company on their back. But this time it would be an industry, because Shane, if you don't know much about Shane Taylor is actually one of the most amazing. Like, I'm telling you, dude, everybody go look. Woolie's going to put his Twitter down below. Shane Taylor is an amazing person. He legit wants to see the business get better. It's not just about him, um, but he wants to do it on his terms. So this would be perfect. He's being him and Soldiers of Savagery and Ron Hunt are being hired to be mercenaries for the entire business, and that to me is what this entire industry needs, is a huge shakeup where somebody that you don't expect does something huge in a huge way. And I would say a year and a half build up for Kofi being the main. You get to you leave him on SmackDown with a New Day. They're still hypety hopety and the bootios and all the stuff, the cool stuff, the funny stuff they do. And then out of nowhere, Kofi is a bad guy. You telling me that won't make money? You telling me that won't make bank? Especially when you're given the talent that I'm giving that faction to begin with.
Yeah.
And the Shane McMahon thing makes sense because that is something Shane McMahon would want to put his fucking name on. So you stroke the ego of a McMahon while building a faction of nothing but talented black wrestlers. You make Bianca Belair and Montez Ford like the Booker T, like the king, and they rule. They're the it couple of wrestling instead of being McMahon and Triple H or Cody Rhodes and what is his? I don't remember. Brandy Rhodes.
Brandy.
Sorry.
Yep.
Yeah. I had to remember Chief Brandy Officer. That's why I remembered. That's kind of sad. Nothing against her, but like I've never been impressed. She was nothing I've ever been impressed with. Like, y'all don't want to know my personal feelings on AEW. You probably will find out someday soon, but you don't want to know.
Yeah. That's interesting. Now, I do wonder, like, one, that sounds like something that wouldn't happen in today's WWE. I just feel like they just bounce around month to month on different storylines. They never seem to be able to commit.
Well, I don't think
Recently,
that's WWE's fault, and that's where we can have this conversation now. I don't think that's mainly WWE's fault. I think it's mainly our fault, the wrestling fan, because they tell a story. Let's just use the Street Profits as an example. Everybody was unhappy they still wasn't tag team champions. Why? Why were they unhappy? Are you telling me that the Street Profits are that much better than the AOP or the people that were tag team champions before them?
I mean, I don't know if you can necessarily say they were any better or any worse. I mean, Street Profits are entertaining as hell. That's for
But did
sure.
you but did you see the reaction when they finally won?
Mm-mm.
The reason why wrestling, and I thought maybe it was because I'm older and I'm looking through rose colored glasses, but the reason I feel that wrestling's better on Ring of Honor, the reason I feel like Ring of Honor has the best wrestling, the best storylines, everything right now in the industry is because they don't build a fight in 3 minutes. They let that shit slow burn. They let that shit fester to where when are they finally going to do it? When are they finally going to pull the trigger? Oh my God, can you wait till they pull the trigger? This is going to be amazing. But they don't give in. There's times they do it, but across the board, they kind of let it roll. You know what I'm saying? And
They kind of set the end point where they want to go, what they want to do, but it's something that they kind of like. They don't go, okay, you go from point A to point B. This is how you do it. They just kind of let it flow naturally.
yes, and the reason why things like we brought them up, evolution and um, even though it ended badly, the mysterious GM thing. The reason why those couldn't work today is because today's fans would want it done right fucking now. Just tell us who it is. Oh, who can it be? Like making us wait. What is it? Almost a year for Shane Taylor to show up after he hints that he has a contract offer from both companies. That just it's the same thing like with AJ Styles when he finally came out. They did that perfectly. And it's the last time they've done something that perfectly to where there was hints and there was this and there was that. But when is it going to happen? Is it going to happen at the Royal Rumble? Probably not the Royal Rumble. There's no way they're going to give him that rub. Number two. You know what I'm saying? Or
Yeah.
number three, or whatever number he was. I forgot. But that's not the point if I forgot it. The fact of the matter is it was, and then the, like, I'm sitting here thinking, and like this whole thing with Bray Wyatt. when they were slow building it, when they were slow building everything he was doing, holy crap, it was a must watch. Now they're just kind of speeding through the storylines, even though he's over, even though everybody wants to see him be the face and all that, or the, not the face, but the, one of the main focal points. Now we went from Daniel Bryan to da 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 to Goldberg to now John Cena in a matter of a month and a half. That's insane. And
So
that's not what should be happening.
yeah,
The
the pace needs to be slowed
the,
down.
the reason why Bray Wyatt was so fucking over is they slowed that pace so much and they told so much stories between each thing he did. Even
Yeah,
between attacking the legends, there was time between those.
yeah, and just that they the history, like his history within the company too. Like,
Yeah. And you know how Brock Lesnar and all them, there's a couple of them that says, well, I'm box office, so I'm only going to show it when you pay me money. Shane
mm-hmm,
Taylor, y'all may not realize it, but Shane Taylor is that. He absolutely is that. And if you give him that slow burn to where he's not, I mean, think about it. He's wrestling for Ring of Honor. He's still doing this thing over there. Then he's knocking out Okada out of nowhere in 9 months.
mm-hmm.
How does that bleed into 4 months later him being on WWE? It doesn't. But it doesn't have to make sense when that's the point of the storyline. It doesn't. I mean, it when it happens, it won't make sense. But when the storyline's finished, you'll be like, oh, so Kofi and Shane or whatever paid Shane Taylor to show up everywhere. And if you're not going to pay, and this is just my notice to any company out there, if you're not going to pay the wrestlers life insurance, health insurance, and the stuff they need, then they're not really under contract. They really are a self contractor,
Mm-hmm.
and they should be able to go and do things with their friends. Because you can't tell me you don't know a lot about Shane. Do you know how much I would kill to see a Big E Shane Taylor match? Holy shit, dude, that shit would be amazing. I would kill to see Brock Lesnar and Shane Taylor, or SOS and the New Day. SOS and anybody on the WWE roster would be fucking amazing. But because there's stupid ass contracts where the only people really making any money, truth is, in this is the big stars and the company. Why can't there be a storyline to where Ring of Honor gets a fucking rub? Because everything I just said, how does it hurt the WWE? Honestly, that
I
entire storyline, how does that hurt the WWE?
I don't see how. I mean, I don't know if there's really a way you can hurt the WWE at this point.
Well, they're doing it themselves.
Yeah, yeah, but
Let me tell you what was going to be in this podcast, guys, and then we'll end there and I'll let y'all baby chew on that. I think that WrestleMania is going on because Vince McMahon is stuck in 2001. And for our younger viewers and for the people who wasn't really wrestling fans there, and maybe even Wooly, who looks really fucking confused right now, in 2001, when 9/11 happened, the WWE was the first big company, entertainment wise, that did what they could to bring us all back together, to give us hope, to remind us that not everything in the world was bad. Yes, there's bad shit going on, but they did it before baseball.
mm-hmm.
Like they were the first. And I think Vince McMahon does not understand we can't do that right now. We can't be like, oh, let's hold WrestleMania because the ass is in the seats. A couple episodes with no people in the audience, it's pretty good. I think they should do it once or twice a year. But unless you're making each match a movie, full CGI and everything, how does this shit gonna work? Do you really want to see AJ Styles retire The Undertaker with nobody in the audience? Do you really want to see Bray Wyatt beat John Cena finally with nobody in the audience?
Nah.
Or how about Shane, you Drew McIntyre fans, do you really want to see him claymore fucking Brock Lesnar 142 times before beating him with nobody in the audience? Do you really want to see that?
The audience is
No.
the whole reason to be to watch a show.
Yeah.
It's the audience reaction. It's
Well,
like,
sometimes they're too much, but yeah.
well, I mean, let's think about it. If you're a pro wrestler, your job is to work over the crowd.
Correct.
If you're a heel, you're working the crowd over to boo your fucking ass.
Yeah.
If you're a face, you're wanting them to cheer your name. You take out that element, what is wrestling then? It's
It's a bunch of sweaty men and women beating the hell out of each other for no reason.
exactly you having
Because
that fan interaction of sorts is kind of what makes wrestling wrestling.
let me leave you with this, and then I'll do the outro, and we can go home, guys. Can you imagine the streak ending with no audience
Ugh.
and that most iconic king sitting there with the big fucking wide open eyes, looking shocked? Could you imagine that not happening? Because that's what we're getting with WrestleMania this year, because Vince McMahon is out of touch. So, WWE, if you would like to hire me as a booker, redbusybone2000 at yahoo.com. Hit me up.
His Twitter's below his screen, so
The last thing I want to share with you guys, down below, Wooly, I'll have him make sure it's there. It's a Pro Wrestling Tees shirt website. And the main thing that I want you to get out of this is there's a lot of people, a lot of people right now out of work because of this. They can't come and perform for you and show you love and do the things they love doing in front of you. It's going to be on Shane Taylor's part of the page because there's definitely a T-shirt I want on there. Fist of Faces. Shane Taylor, you're fucking amazing with that shit. But check out the entire site. Check them out. This is not an ad. I am not getting any placement. Look how small our channel is. This is us just showing love. If you have 15, 20, 25, 30 bucks, look on the website, find you a T-shirt of a wrestler you've never heard of, and their design looks cool, and buy it. Then go to YouTube, search that person, and find somebody. I highly suggest my beautiful host here to go look up Shane Taylor because he's going to like Shane Taylor. But give it a chance. All the Twitter links will be below. The only one I think I forgot was Kofi's, and that's because I didn't want to give. He was when I gave him the John Cena Twitter link, he was just like, "Oh, I was okay until that one." Now he understands, and now it makes complete sense. But yeah, all their Twitter links is below. I know most of them's world famous, and some of y'all, there's not many of y'all that watch us, but if you're new to this, just give them a follow because all of them's high quality follows. Ring of Honor, Jay Lethal, Bianca Belair, Montez Ford, Ron Hunt, Prolific Moses, and the Con are the ones, and well, of course, Shane Taylor's and Cena's. But give them a follow. Go show them love. If you have some extra money and need a T-shirt, go buy your wrestling T-shirt. It can be your favorite wrestler that's on there, or somebody you've never heard of that you love their design. But show some love. And with that, thank you guys. If you like this and you want to see me and Wooly book other random stuff,
yeah.
Comment down below. Let us know on Twitter or Facebook. We don't have a Facebook yet. I'm waiting for a certain number before we make the Facebook. That's why. But until then, see you next time.
All right, later, peeps.